very good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Consumer Hour. I'm Tana Thomas and I'm sitting in for Norgie Banton, who will be back on Wednesday. Good morning to you wherever in the world you are. Good morning to our YouTubers at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. I see all of you guys streaming in. Let's see who was first out in the YouTube chat this morning. My friend Rick NYCJM. Good morning to you, Rick. Good morning as well to my friend Juliet Sanchez, Shine Atkinson, who is saying good morning, Nora. Good morning to you, Shine. I'm with you today. I'll be with you tomorrow. Nora will be back on Wednesday. Hello as well to Errol Townsend and Melissa Williams, Inez I. Campbell Murray, who is saying good morning, Miss Nora. It's Miss Tana this morning. Hi to you, Inez I. Campbell Murray in the YouTube chat. Good morning as well to Chris Daly, Monica Stone. I'm seeing as well Merlene Russell out early. Sonia Hutton. I'm also seeing KT Buello, Ryder 40. My friend Jean Sellers down there in St. Elizabeth. Good morning to you, Jean. Hope I find you well. Good morning as well to Monique Hunter. Who else am I seeing early out in the chat? Albert Morgan is here. Electro Squad Official is also here. Lori, good morning to you, Lori. Hi as well to you, him personified. Good morning to all of you joining us in the YouTube chat. Clash Camp, I see you as well. All of you, it's always a happy time to see you. Ken Youth Mullings, I see you as well. So hello to all of you. Good morning to those as well joining us on the FM band on 90.3, 0.5, 90.7 and 90.9. Hello to all of you. Greeting you out there in Radio Land. And good morning to you if you're joining us on the Nationwide app. As I usually say, if it is that you miss a show, no need to worry about missing a show. Either you want to go to the Nationwide 90 FM YouTube channel to rewatch that program, or you can just download the app. All of our programs are in the archives so that you can go back and listen to them while you do what you need to do. So good morning again. Greeting you all. Good morning. Happy to have you this Monday morning. It is Monday, August 11, 2025. Today on the Consumer Hour, it's Immigration Mondays, where we take your questions and concerns about visiting or immigrating to the U.S. or Canada. And today on Immigration Mondays, no strangers to Immigration Mondays, I'm being joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir, who is in studio with me. Good morning to you, ladies. Opal on the line and Nadine here in studio. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Tawny. Very nice to sit with you this morning. Good morning, Miss Lee. Good morning to our wonderful listeners and viewers. And of course, we have to big up Nora. I hope you're enjoying your vacation.
Well-deserved vacation. I do hope as well, Nora, that you are enjoying your vacation and getting some well-needed rest as well. Good morning to you, Opal.
Good morning, and good morning, Nadine, and good morning, Toya. Good morning to our wonderful and loyal listeners and viewers. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. And just to allow you ladies now to provide us with any updates on immigration policies from the U.S. and Canada. Let's begin with you, Opal.
All right. So the one of the main things that everybody has been talking about is where the U.S. had basically stated that they were going to do that 12-month HILA program under which people from certain countries would, who were deemed to have a large overstay, they were going to be required to do that $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 bond. Well, maybe most of you already know that that actually came out. The list has came out, and no, Jamaica is not on that list. As a matter of fact, no Caribbean country is on that list. So under the new rule, consular officers may require a non-immigrant visa from applicants from two countries so far, Malawi and Zambia, to post a bond of either they can determine whether it's $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000. And the thing is, and that will go for every single person who is applying for a visa to come to the United States from those two countries. And it will be limited to maybe only a 3-month visa, even though they may be given a 3-month visa when they actually enter the United States. It's up to the Customs and Border Patrol to see whether or not they will even give that the 3 months, because they could even limit it to 30 days in the first place. And but the important thing to note for all our listeners, that even though those countries or your country might not be on the list right now, this is a fluid list. It could be changed at any given time. And so this one is stated to roll out maybe around August 26th. But I can imagine that, the department is going to watch and see how it goes. And then maybe they're going to add other people to the list. The other thing is that the visa integrity fee that we have been talking about now, the $250 that goes for everybody, no matter what country you are, if you're applying for a non-immigrant visa fee, we're thinking is going to start October 1st of this year, which coincides with the beginning of the new fiscal year in the United States. And for that, everybody, whether you're doing a B1, B2, which is a visiting visa, whether it's a student visa, whether it's a temporary work visa, such as an H-1B, a P visa, or a religious visa, you're going to be required to pay that $250, and you will only, it's no guarantee that you will even get it back, but usually you can apply to get it back after you can show that you have not overstayed or otherwise run afoul of the visa that you were granted. And I think there's one more thing. Oh yeah, the Department of State has also announced that major changes to its visa interview policies, and it will take effect on September 2nd. Very close to Jamaica's big day, September 3rd, right? But anyway, September 2nd. So the U.S. consulates are going to adopt a much more limited version of the non-immigrant visa interview waiver program. So if you're applying even for a visa in Jamaica or wherever you are, even certain applicants now who were not usually interviewed, you're now more likely than not are going to interview even children under 14 years old and adults 79 years old or over. So it's going to be a much more stricter policy come September 2nd.
Thank you so much for that, Opal, for those updates. And for you, Nadine?
Thanks, Tana. For Canada, just a reminder, and I think it's worth repeating, last week we announced, or Immigration Canada announced, they're sending out invitations for persons who submitted an interest in the parent and grandparent sponsorship category. So currently immigration is sending out those invitations to apply. Please check your emails, please check your spam folders, because again, they're sending out the invitations based on persons who have been in the pool from 2020. Okay, so when you get that invitation to apply, you only have until, I believe it's October 9th to submit all of your supporting documents, and you want to ensure that you go through that document checklist and ensure you have all the supporting documents. For express entry, which is the route under which persons can apply for permanent residency, there was another draw, but it's for French-speaking applicants. So I know a lot of our Jamaican clients or friends may not be very proficient in French, so they have to look at other ways of going to Canada and then eventually qualifying for residency. Either if you're able to get a job under one of the rural programs, and or you go up as a student and then transition to permanent residency. Thanks, Tana.
Thank you so much for that update. And ladies, just before we go to our first break, just for you to give out your contact details. Opal? We're not hearing Opal. Are you mute?
Thank you, Tana. Sorry about
Go
that.
ahead,
So
go
for
ahead.
Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You can also connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Our handle is at Flojam Legal, FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. Our email is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Tana.
You're most welcome. So if you have your immigration related questions, do call us, or you can place your questions over in our YouTube chat. Again, the channel Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. Gonna take a break and come back with those calls, those questions in the chat on the other side.
Shipping from China? Ship with Ship Phoenix. Ship less than a container load to Jamaica and now to Grand Cayman. They offer no transshipment, no lost cargo, short transit times, door-to-door delivery, and no hidden fees. Ship Phoenix is your local contact offering transparency with your China cargo. For bookings, call 876-452-2119 or email sales@shipphoenix.com. Sign up at shipphoenix.com. Ship from China to yard with Ship Phoenix. Shipping simplified.
Move with Morenzu at Burt's Auto Parts and get 15% off Morenzu products, including radiators, air filters, oil filters, fuel filters, tie rod ends, rack ends, ball joints, and stabilizer links. Keep your car performing at its best with quality parts you can trust. This offer runs until September 20, 2025, so don't miss out. All you need to do is tell your sales rep the code. Hashtag Move with Morenzu15. Move smart, move with Morenzu. Only at Burt's Auto Parts. It hurts if you don't check Burt's.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You want do your thing with your queen or your king.
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex risky.
PrEP, I extra bucketed.
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Welcome back to the Consumer Hour, of course, on this Monday morning, Monday, August 11, 2025. It's Immigration Mondays, and on the line is U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee, and in studio, Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. They're waiting to take your calls on immigration-related matters. Our numbers 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, or digital line 618-8255. Nadine, or rather Opal, as we wait to get those calls, if you could say some more about something that you mentioned in relation to that list of countries, and you said Jamaica is not on it, but you said that the list is quite fluid.
Yes. So that's the one where what the U.S. government have been stating that, you know what, too many people are coming here from countries and they're overstaying their visa. So we need to find a way to deter them from doing that. And so right now it's a pilot program they're trying out. And I think the two countries, I think they just chose these two countries. Yes, they're two African countries to try out this program. And I think depending on how it goes, because, some people are thinking, how is this even going to go? You're asking people to come up with $15,000 or 10,000. You're basically going to be blocking tourism to the United States. So I think they're trying out with these countries. So it's going to be either when you apply for the visa at the consulate in these two countries, which again, it's Malawi and Zambia. The U.S. consulate will make a determination whether or not they should make you post a bond of $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000. The bond must be paid through the U.S. Treasuries. They have a platform for that, and they have a form that you would have to pay. I think it's a form I-352 that you would have to pay it. For those visa holders, they're going to be given only a 3-month single entry B1, B2. And it's really interesting because like for Jamaica normally get a 10-year, multiple. So I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything, and I hope that doesn't happen. But for any other country, if they should add it, and those other countries were used to getting 10 years, it would be interesting to see if they're going to limit it like how they limit these two countries. So right now they limited them to only a 3-month single entry B1, B2. And again, when they enter, they may limit that even further to 30 days, depending on how you present yourself at the U.S. consulate. The reason why I'm saying that's fluid because it's a pilot program. So we could be talking right now and they add somebody else to the list. They could add somebody next week. They could add somebody next couple of weeks. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. And another one that you mentioned as well, I see a comment here from Mikhail saying, I wonder what questions they will be asking a 14-year-old or younger.
Yeah, that's important. Do you live with mommy and daddy? Because, sometimes they put that, the child lives with the mom or the dad and maybe the mom, I don't know, depending on who has a visa, right? Because normally the parent accompanying, maybe the mom has a visa, the dad has a visa, and sometimes people might misrepresent who the child really lives with. That could be one thing. But you're right. I don't even see why. I mean, I know they're doing all these more strict rules just to... they're doing just all these strict rules where I think, sometimes it's just really not necessary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So our numbers again, 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374. Are there any burning questions, a matter that you're going through right now in relation to immigration matters, and you want to get an insight from Opal and Nadine? They're here with me until 10 o'clock, so you can make those calls, or if you're over in the YouTube chat, you can indeed put your questions in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. My producer is monitoring the chat. Opal and Nadine also paying attention to the chat for those questions. Were there any other updates, Nadine, that was on your mind that you want to share with our listeners, folks?
Well, I first need to answer.
To Canada.
I am Damien. I'm not really sure how you arrived at that conclusion, but I'm not going to say.
Don't answer, Nadine. Don't answer.
Right. Yes. So I don't know how you arrive at that conclusion. But anyways, no, I mean, for Canadian immigration, Tana, just a reminder for persons, you might be visiting for the summer, please ensure you have valid travel documents to return home. You don't want to get to the airport and realize that your PR card or your passport has expired. So please ensure that you do check your travel documents if you're outside of Canada. And of course, you're going to be returning home soon.
So ensure you check those documents. Kevin Taylor here, an interesting comment that you could perhaps respond to as well, Opal, saying, I find this begging for a visa or a green card disgusting.
Megan, but listen, what you need to understand, people have family, friends in the United States, so they're not begging for a green card. They want to be able to join their loved ones, right? You have maybe your family back, from days gone, even from, if you're biblical, before the biblical, before AD, before BC, right? People have been trying to migrate for a better life and to be with, and then once one person migrates and they try to have their family join them. And so you have to balance that with the country that you're trying to migrate to, trying to protect their borders as well. Jamaica will do the same thing. We don't want, certain people to just infiltrate the country and who is not going to be beneficial to Jamaica. And I think if people balances it out, I don't think anybody has any problem with that. But it's when people are in the United States, for example, and they're making a positive contribution, helping the economy, to grow, and then they're doing the right thing, and then we slap them in their face and snatch it back from them. I think that's what most people have a problem with. I don't think most people have a problem if you're going to enter the United States and then you're going to be committing all these crimes and, Tana, and all this stuff and bringing the country down. I don't think anybody at all would really have a problem with that part. I think they have a problem when you see trying people, or they're fleeing persecution. They have a credible fear of fleeing persecution, or they're, contributing, don't have any criminal records, for example, doing what you want them to do what the law states that they should do. And then you still snatch that away from them. I think that's where the outrage is.
Yeah, Lisa Cohen's here is asking, what's the latest on the adjustment of status?
So last week, I think I touched on it a little bit. And that's exactly what I was just talking about now. When people are trying to do the right thing, Tana, and they snatch it away. So you're in the United States, you don't have any criminal record. Maybe the only violation you have is like your visa has, you've overstayed your visa. And so the law states that if you're, for example, you're married to a United States citizen, or you have a child who is at least 21 years old who's a U.S. citizen, then that person will be able to file for you, and that inadmissibility of overstay will not be, used against you. Now what we see this administration doing, they're actually using it against you. So we have those people who are filing adjustment to adjust their status from a visa overstay to that of a permanent resident. And they're saying, you know what, if you do that, you still have overstayed. We know we have the right that we could still do it, that it's discretionary. We're going to either put you in detention, where you're going to have to be fighting this battle behind bars, or we will transfer your case to removal proceedings to an immigration judge. It's just making it more difficult for people. I mean, getting an attorney like myself, we're more likely to be able to get you bonded out anyway. So I think it's just a waste of resources, because one way or the other, where I'm going to be able to more likely be able to bond my client out, or if they even put it over into removal proceedings, I may be able to get you to adjust before an immigration judge anyway. So I just see it's just an unnecessary step that they're doing for these immigrants, that it's just crying foul in most attorneys' position.
Mm-hmm. And I see here.
But wait, real quick though, yes. But I would still say, if you're eligible to adjust and you've overstayed your visa, please do not sit and be deterred. Do it. Go ahead and still file. I'm sorry, go ahead and file. It's better to have something pending, even if they're going to transfer you to a removal or, maybe detain you. You can get out, or you can adjust before an immigration judge. Just don't sit there idly and then let them arrest you, and then you don't have anything pending because you were scared to put something in. Then when you go before the immigration judge, you're going to say, oh, Your Honor, I didn't put anything in, or didn't marry the love of my life, even though I know he or she's the love of my life, because I was scared. Then what you're going to do, you're not going to have any relief at that point. So might as well go forward with faith and do it.
And I see Laura here asking, is studying in Canada, Nadine, encouraged still, and what programs to pursue? Masters or diploma, short courses?
Well, yes, studying, of course, is still encouraged, because that is one way to eventually obtain your permanent residency. It does depend on, yes, you need to study at a designated learning institution. The course does need to qualify for a postgrad work permit if you're looking at qualifying for a postgrad work permit. So they would have to take a look at the list on the immigration website, or yes, of course, if they sign up for a consultation, then I would go through the details with them.
All right, so there you go, Lori. Before we get to our second break of the morning here on the Consumer Hour for Immigration Mondays, ladies, if you could give out your contact details, Opal.
Thank you. So Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at FlowJam Legal. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Tana. Over to you.
All right. I see those questions coming in the YouTube chat. Keep them coming. We're going to take more of those questions after the break.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:30.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
What is the
For
on
more
the TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently. But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake.
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait. I really want dege dumpling you give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Need fast, reliable delivery? Speed Services has you covered. We offer air freight 2 times weekly and sea freight once a week. Perfect for getting your packages to Jamaica fast. Just visit speedshipja.com. That's speed with 3 E's. Need a bearer, food delivery, or local delivery for your business? Call or text 876-484-8850 and follow us on Instagram at speedshipja. That's speed with 3 E's. Speed Services, where speed meets service.
Welcome back to the Consumer Hour. I'm Tona Thomas, and I am sitting in for Norgay Banton, who is on vacation. She will be back on Wednesday. Of course, today is Immigration Mondays, and here with me, U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. So, Nadine, I am seeing in the chat, I saw Mario asking if you are staying at a hotel overnight before transitioning to a family member for the rest of your stay, what do you say to immigration at the airport in Canada when they ask where you will be staying?
Hi, Mario. I suppose you would give them that information that you are going to stay at a hotel and then be staying with family members. But bear in mind, when you're doing your application, you would also provide that information on your application, because the form does ask where will you be staying or who will you be staying with for your visit. And if you are staying with a family member, then you would also ask them for an invitation letter, because again, you're providing the documents with your application. So the invitation letter, I normally ask clients to include a copy of the person inviting you, their job letter, and their status documents in Canada. They don't necessarily have to include their salary, unless, of course, it is normally for senior citizens. I would say if the person in Canada is supporting the trip, then you would include the salary in the job letter.
Okay, I saw Mario. So Frandy here says, good morning. Question for Opal. Is it required for an elderly Jamaican green card holder to have a valid Jamaican passport, even if the person has no intention to travel internationally?
It's not necessary, but I would strongly recommend that they just go ahead and renew their passport, just to have that second or third identification document. So even if you're just in the United States, you have no desire to travel. Sometimes, you might have the green card. I don't even know if this person has a driver's license in the United States. So it's great to just have that as a backup ID. And you never know, you might need a travel, but is it necessary? No, it's not mandatory. I know several people who does not have a Jamaican passport or have any passport at all. They just think they're never ever going to go on a plane.
Gotcha. I see Shauna here asking for contact details for Opal. Again, you will get those contact details shortly, Shauna, but the contact details for persons who still have questions, you missed the numbers to call. They are again 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, and 630-9374. A common question, Opal, that I see people ask over and over and over again, I'll have you address it this morning again, is if you're doing a visa renewal, is it automatic that you don't have to go in for a question and answer?
Absolutely not. And that's that's how I opened the program, by giving an update that says beginning September 2nd, major changes, where even people who wouldn't even normally be asked to do an interview, you're more likely than not is going to. It's not like they made a blanket where it says you have to, but it's going to be almost at 99% sure that you're going to be given an interview, even minor children, under 14, and even elderlies. So yes, and even if you had a visa before, you're just simply renewing it and you have never overstayed, it is still. And I see a lot of people ask this question too about, as I talk about overstayed, and like, okay, but they gave me 6 months. I never overstayed. Why, when I'm applying for my visa next time, why am I not getting it? Guys, you don't really have to spend 6 months or 5 months. It's enough to show that your situation has changed, because if they give you 6 months in the country, normally they're expecting you not to really use the 6 months unless it's really needed, So for example, you have told them maybe when you were entering that, oh, I'm just going to be visiting for 2 or 3 weeks. Yes, they may have given you an I-94 that's good for 6 months. But I think most times the reason why they do it, I think they do it to test you. And also, just in case, sometimes, you might come in for 2-3 weeks to the US and then something happens. You get sick or travel plans change because of a family member. Then fine, you could explain the next time you travel when they asked you. They will say, Tona, you said you were only coming for 2 weeks. I see you changed your ticket and now you spend for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Can you explain? And if you have a good explanation, then maybe they'll be fine with it. But if they believe that you were deceptive from beginning and you knew you were going for 3 months or 4 months, or worse, if they think that you're working unlawfully in the United States, that's how visas gets canceled, and that's how visas do not get renewed.
Yeah. And Glenford Clark here is asking for you, Nadine, can you tell me if Canada's Immigration Express is a legal entity to offer you a job in Canada?
Hi, good morning. I have no idea. I'm sorry. You would have to do your research on the companies, but just bear in mind that companies are not supposed to be charging you to assist you in finding a job. And I believe the Ministry of Labor would have a list of approved organizations for Jamaicans that are supposed to recruit persons. Am I correct, Tana?
I believe so.
So I would recommend probably checking with the Ministry of Labor and doing your own due diligence. Again, you're only supposed to be paying a company to assist you with the immigration paperwork, not with finding you a job. Okay, so again, just be very careful.
Yes, so be vigilant with that one. Errol Curtis is asking of you, Opal. Good morning, Opal. I have filed for my daughter. I filed for my daughter at the age of 20. Everything came through and was approved in April. The letter said your request was sent to the visa department since April. Should we continue to wait or should we call? Sure, if you can decipher that one.
Yes, the person didn't state, and I should correct that person, not that everything was approved. Only the I-130 was approved, which is the immigrant petition. So now that the I-130 has been approved by the USCIS, the file, yes, will then be sent over to the National Visa Center. It usually takes about 30 days, but it could take up to 90 days. Sometimes I push it a little bit if I see that I don't see a case created in by the National Visa Center, then I would, nudge them a little bit and say, hey, we haven't gotten the case number, because you should get a case number that begins with K and G, and then you should get an invoice number that normally begins with IVSCA. That way you could log into the portal on the National Visa Center and get to do the other step to apply now for the immigrant visa. That's where you would have to do the affidavit of support, and you would have to submit, like the police certificate and all those good stuff. But you didn't state whether you are a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. If you're a U.S. citizen, then yes, a visa number is available to you now since your child is under 21 years old. So then you should go ahead and nudge the National Visa Center and check to make sure you have not missed an email giving you those criteria so you be able to log in to do your step. If you're only a permanent resident, then unfortunately a visa number is not yet available because right now for permanent residents filing for children under 21, they're only at September 2022. So it would be another, 3 years before a visa number will become available. So even though it's transferred over to National Visa Center, you wouldn't really get any contact or you wouldn't be able to move forward with the case yet until a visa number becomes available. And in that case, since your child is 20 and almost 21, it's more likely than not that the child is going to age out by the time 3 years come. But we would have to do a little bit more details or get more information to determine that. But if it's a U.S. citizen, just go ahead and contact the National Visa Center and let them know the case was supposed to have been transferred from April. We're now in August, and you have not gotten the case numbers.
Roger Smart here is asking, if you have a sponsor, H-1B, is it okay to change sponsors? And if yes, do I need a new visa application?
Oh, that's a bad thing to change sponsors. That's a little bit more complicated. You might have to do a consultation. It's never a good idea to change sponsors. Sponsors are like an employer, because you have that one employer who is saying that we need that person to come and work for us, and they fill out all the criteria, and now you're switching employers. So yes, you can apply for the other employer could apply to transfer it, but it's a little bit more detailed.
Mm-hmm. And Shauna is back in the chat. She's asking, my child was filed for in December 2024. His stepmother did so. He is 20. How long would it take to get a response?
So stepmother, so I'm thinking it would take about a year for the I-130 itself to be approved. And then after the I-130 is approved, just like I said before in the other answer, it would then go over to the National Visa Center. So the whole process from start until the child gets to migrate, you're looking at about maybe a year and a half to 2 years for the child to actually migrate to the United States.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Nadine, based on this comment I'm asking, somebody said in the chat about lawyers in Canada, having concerns with lawyers in Canada, said a friend lost thousands of dollars when they were promising to quote unquote get her straight and then no luck. So my question to you is, how does somebody go about verifying, ensuring that the person who they're interacting with on their immigration matters is legitimate?
Well, the thing is, Tanya, bear in mind, and Opal can attest to this, is not because you're a lawyer doesn't mean that you're an immigration expert. Mm-hmm. Because as we know, there are different areas of law. So one thing is you want to make sure that if it is a lawyer that you're dealing with, that they are an immigration lawyer. That's the first thing. The second thing, if it's a consultant, then you need to make sure that they are licensed with the College of Immigration Consultants in Canada. Mm-hmm. Third, you probably want to check Google reviews if you don't know the person, or was it that you were referred to this person? Have they dealt with other clients that you know, and what was their success rate like? Mm-hmm. So, I've heard way too many horror stories. So I fully understand where this person is coming from. Because again, yes, you go to someone, you tell them pretty much your life story, you're expecting them to help you. And that is why I do a consultation, Tana, because when somebody comes in, you can tell them upfront, okay, yes, this is what can be done, or I can't do anything to help you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's one of the two. As much as you can't give a client a guarantee, but you're going to be doing your best if you decide to take their case.
Yeah.
But yes, I know there are a lot of persons out there, and they've just really not just have they charged the clients a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they've made the clients in a worse position than they were before.
Yeah. So you heard those first checks that Nadine is telling you to do if it is that you're about to engage with someone on an immigration matter. I see your question, Halford Smith. Just hold. We're going to take the response to that question after the break. But before we go to the break, ladies, your contact details.
Thank you. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You may find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Flowjam Legal. FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Over to you, Ms. Tana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadine and Opal. So we're going to take a break and come back with our final segment, Immigration Mondays. It is here on the Consumer Hour.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:46.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the Consumer Hour here on Nationwide 90 FM. It is Immigration Mondays, the final segment of Immigration Mondays with me, your usual suspects, U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir, still here to take your questions and provide you with some important and useful responses. I am seeing a question here from Halford Smith who says, good morning. How will this affect my chance of getting my green card? My sibling petitioned for me in March 2013. I was approved in July 2020. However, since the new administration, I moved back home.
All right. So here's the thing. For that sibling category, which is the F4, they're only at January 2008. So if your sibling petition in 2013, what are we looking at? About maybe another 5 years or so before a visa number becomes available. That's one of the longest category. It takes about 16 years maybe before a visa number becomes available. You have said something, though. You have basically said that since this administration, you went back home. So it want me to believe that you overstayed in the United States, and only when things got a little bit hot since the new administration, you went back home. Here's the thing. If a sibling filed for you and you have overstayed, if you have overstayed your visa for 1 year or more, you have a 10-year bar, which means you have to remain outside the United States for 10 years. If you overstay for 3 years, for under 1 year, but more than 6 months, you have a 3-year bar. So if, depending on which one it is, a 3-year bar or a 10-year bar, you have to remain outside the United States. The only way for you to get rid of this bar is to file a waiver, an I-601 waiver to forgive you for that inadmissibility. You refer that you're outside the United States, so it would be an I-601 waiver that you'd file. Problem is, you need a qualified family member, and you cannot get that waiver through a sibling. Can't get it through a sister or brother. When you're waiving immigration violations, you would need to get it through a parent. You'd have to have a parent who's a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, or maybe a spouse who is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, who you could say, you know what, it's going to be exceptional hardship to that family member if they don't forgive you for overstaying. So you might need to do a consultation, because if you really have overstayed, you have a bar. But if you wait out the 10 years in Jamaica, which right now you only have about 5 years or so to go before a visa number to become available, you might not even need that waiver if you just wait the 10 years out.
All right. And Patrina Henry's question could be posed to both of you. The question, if cannabis is found in the test for the U.S. medical, but I'd also ask of you as well, Nadine, for Canadian medical, will your case be completely and forever rejected?
No, for the U.S., it's not completely or rejected. What they will do is determine how long has it been in your system. So it might be a bar for another 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years. But what you have to do, you have to keep monitoring and contact the U.S. Embassy so they keep the case opened. But don't smoke, guys. Blanket, don't smoke marijuana. Even in the United States, for real though, because even in some states they have legalized it. It's still a federal crime.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
And for you, Nadine?
Talking about legalizing marijuana here, I say every corner there's a cannabis shop in Toronto right now. I'm sorry, I think it's crazy, but anyways,
yeah.
I don't know about the medical implications. Well, from an immigration point of view, because in 22 years I've never had a client that said, or that I'm aware of, where their medical was rejected or they didn't pass their medical because they had cannabis in their system. So I really can't, answer that question. But no, I don't support the smoking of it either.
There you go. And
so you're saying I have the fun clients. I'm joking.
And Opal Kimani here in the YouTube chat is asking, Kimani says, my brother filed for me and I'm over 40. How long will it take to be approved?
Right. So exactly. You're the F4. So you said brother filed?
My brother filed, yes.
So, yeah. So you're in the F4 category. And right now they're only at January 2008. So those categories, it's like 16, 17 years it could take before a visa number becomes available. So it depends on when the brother started filing for him.
Yeah. All right, there goes your answer, Kimani. A question for you, Nadine. This one says, a lady got pregnant for me, but before the child was born, went to Canada and has not returned. She had the baby in Canada, but registered the child in another man's name who is a U.S. citizen. The child looks like me and my other child at the same age. I requested a DNA, but she has refused. How can I prove paternity?
Hi, good morning. I'm really, really sorry to hear about all of this and all that you're going through. That's a good question. I'd have to look into this. I've never, ever, had a case.
I can answer that for you, Nadine, if you would like.
Thank you, Opal. Yes, please.
Right. That person need a family attorney in Canada because that's where the child is right now. So that person should really contact an attorney. They will have to do like a paternity action where they would have the court, demand, or they could demand of the court to have that mother and child subject to paternity. Like I know I do family law in Florida and in Jamaica. So that's what I would have done here. Of course,
producer Michelle Opal is telling me the father is in Jamaica. Yes, father is in Jamaica.
Exactly. The father's in Jamaica, but the child, so for jurisdictional purpose, they could try in Jamaica, but I don't think Jamaica might have jurisdiction over the child depending on how long the child has been in the United States. So we do this type of paternity cases in Jamaica. So if the person want to, they could contact us because our office in Jamaica can help with that. But it would be interesting for me to know how long has a person left Jamaica to see if Jamaica will still kind of have jurisdiction.
And Roger Smart, who is asking about consultation fees. We're going to allow the ladies soon, Roger, to give out their contact details for a final time. So you can keep listening for the contact details so you can reach out to Opal and Nadine for their fees. I see Mutty G here saying, good morning. How long does it take when a son files for a father?
U.S. or Canada?
Both of you, I think, could take that question. So first you, Opal, and then Nadine.
All right. So for the U.S., it's one of the easiest categories when a child is filed, a U.S. citizen child who's at least 21 years old, filed for his or her parent. It takes the I-130, which is the first immigrant petition that needs to be filed. It takes about a year for it to be approved. If the parent is in the United States, they can actually do an adjustment, do everything at the same time, and that parent could get a green card maybe within about a year and a half or so. If the person is outside the United States, then they have to do it in two steps. One, the immigrant petition, which takes about a year, and then afterwards, the file is sent over to the National Visa Center, and I normally just tell my clients just to estimate another year or so. It could be less, but by the time it goes to the National Visa Center and then gets sent to the embassy and they have to do their medical at angels, I just say add another year or so. So maybe 2 years.
Okay. And Nadine?
And for Canada, it's not as easy as the US. So you actually have to enter a pool, Tana. If you remember at the beginning of the program, I mentioned the parent-grandparent category and that, yes, invitations are now being sent out. For Canada, the parent-grandparent category is not always open, so it's one of the most difficult categories to sponsor under, unfortunately. So when immigration does open up the pool, you submit your information online, and then when they do open up the pool again to submit the invitations, you're sent an invitation to apply. Only a certain amount of persons are sent an invitation to apply, not everyone in the pool. So that's why I call it's like winning the jackpot for sponsoring a parent. So yes, it's quite a bit more challenge for Canada. You go online, submit your information when they open up. Then again, the immigration minister will submit the invitations and then you submit your application.
Okay.
So it could take forever, literally.
Sports People TV is asking, this one is for you, Opal, if you are a permanent resident and you come back to Jamaica to marry your girlfriend, how long does it take to get her over? So I guess the filing process.
All right. So right now they're at September 2022. So it would take about 3 years if you're just going to file now in 2025, because they have to finish up all the 2022s. Then they'll go to 2023 cases, then the 2024, then they'll go to 2025 case. So about 3 years, I would say maybe 3.5 years or so before a visa number becomes available. So start the filing right now.
Right now, Sports People TV, who posted that question in the chat moments ago. So as we wrap, ladies, to give out your contact details, Roger and some others are asking for your contact information as well to hear about consultation fees. So your contact details.
All right. Thank you. So for Opal Lee, thank you, Tana. For Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You may find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Flojam Legal. That's FLOJAMLEGAL. And if you need to see our consultation fees, it's all there on our website, www.flowjamlegal.com. Have a great week, everyone, especially on Wednesday. That's my birthday. So I know every one of you are going to have a perfect week. Over to you, Nadine.
I will try to remember that to give you a shout out as well.
For Nadine Mehaber, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email is info@cdnintl.com. And happy birthday in advance, Miss Opal. And I know you'll be enjoying more than just the day. And have a great week, everyone. Be safe.
Thank you, ladies, so much. U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahiber joining us as usual in Immigration Mondays. And that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Consumer Hour this morning. Thanks so much to my technical operator, Kevin, and my super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith. Gonna make way now for Cliff Hughes Online. Good morning.
That was the Consumer Hour. But is this real? Hey, Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening.